Amen. No number doesn't come to a quitter but a loss. So the winner can't never quit. And I done found out something. You can't beat nobody that won't give up. You can't whoop nobody that won't give up. If they won't give up, you might as well go on here. He'll tire you out. You'll beat him till he understand what I'm saying. That's what your walk with dope was for. Just never give up. Just don't give up. You beat him half to death. You come back after that and got wore out. That's what happened over there. Him and them. Wore him out. Just wouldn't give up. Until he messed around, got tired, and got whooped. Lift your hands and say, I'm going to just keep on fighting. Somebody going to get tired. And it ain't going to be me. Because I got the Holy Ghost. Don't be worried about folk. Folk going to be folk all day long. That's one thing you have to make up your mind. Save yourself. Folk going to live like they want. I don't care how you preach. They're going to do whatever they want. Their mind is made up. You know, sometimes you have to let folk going out there and bump their head. That's their stuff. Say, man, I'm trying. I'm running for my life. I'm running for my life. Say, man. I'm like Paul. I'm going to fight till the day is done. Real soldiers don't quit. They fight till it's over. Say, man. Fight till the battle is fought and the victory is what? It's got to be won before you stop. I ain't letting the devil trick me, get all in my spirit, get all vexed up. You know, that's what it's all about. You know, see, you trying to go somewhere in God. Well, let me preach. Good to see y'all. Good to see all of you today. We appreciate God for each and every one of you. I am so glad to be back in GP. I'm so glad to be back in GP. Amen. I was so tired on that plane. I think I slobbered a couple of times. I coughed. And now you miss me. You look around, see if anybody saw you. Say amen. And you look at me, but General got off the plane. He said, ooh, it's kind of bumpy, wasn't it? Well, they get you good and say you. You have to get on there. You have to get on there believing it. Say, man. Once you get up in there, there ain't no turning back. One thing about that plane will make a real soldier out of you. One thing about it, when you get up in there and they close that door, and you need to start screaming before they get on that runway. Well, that plane ain't got no reverse on it. You got nothing to drive and land. Say that. Get on up in there about 30,000 feet, 37,000 feet. That lady was sitting up there crawling all on the window, sitting up there just all up on the window. And I'm just looking at her like, you know, she's so scared, she done panicked. She just crawling all up on the side of the window. I'm just sitting up there looking at this one. I said, now if they open that window, you're going to be really in trouble. You better sit down somewhere. Look at the guy on the plane, a little dog sitting with me. I don't know if he was scared or what. He was, you know, his eyes was all big. I said, you better not bite me. I'm scared, but you better not bite me. I ain't prepared. Slap you in the name of Jesus. I think you can slap a dog in here. Everything else would be assault. That's the point not bite me. He was really shaking, his eyes all big and bucked up. Even your eyes get big like you have like a dog. Either you're hungry, you're concentrating on something, or you just see like a cat or something, but you don't separation with your eyes, they're not that big. I love you, man. I want to give special thanks to all of my elders and still in the stead, God, all of them home with the blessed everybody that's standing in the gap. Appreciate you so much, and all of my deacons, my men in black, we love you. Church Mother Barker, man, fighting back. And they told me she was non-responsive, just wasn't really coming around. But I said, we just believe in God. So I called the family last night. We just holding on. I prayed a prayer of faith, and I just believe God. We prayed in the room. God sent peace in the room. Send peace. He sent me a picture this morning. She's setting up eating herself eating. I called her. She just went to I'm going to be all right. I'm all right. I said, well, you need to get out of there. Everybody needs you. Little Haley needs you. I need you. Say amen. Praying for her. Praying for, amen, Elder Atkins, amen. He had that wreck God brought him through. He ministered on Wednesday night. And he wasn't, you know, if you come out of a wreck like that, you know, you kind of sit down when you get whiplash like that. But he made it to church. And even though it was a struggle, when you heard that testimony, that's going to break the yokes. Amen. When you see somebody operating under pressure, so be praying for him and his wife, and just pray that God just touch him and just give him the strength that he needs. Is that all right? And then we love you, all of you. Amen. Now we're not going to prolong time today. We're going straight into the Word of God. I'm going to tell you something. Do you know what? You know. If you're tired, you know what gets you energized? Exercise.
Amen. Amen.
See, you think if you're tired, you don't need to do exercise because you'll get tired. If you do exercise, your body has a way of building up like cells in your body, like it'll be like fuel.
Yes,
you energize yourself. You ever sit there, man, I don't know how you do it. I just keep moving. And when I do sit down, I'm down. Put you down, dog. Amen. I'm up now. I'm flowing. To the book of Genesis, chapter 22, again, we're from verse. Don't let nobody make you madder than you should be. And one thing about the devil comes to you when you get tired. It's on purpose, though. Say on purpose.
On purpose.
To the book of Genesis chapter 22, verse 1. And it came to pass after these things that God did what? Now, that word tempt means to test or to try or to prove. I want to see something. That's what he's saying. I want to see something. He said, and God, now the Bible said God tempt no man with evil, but there's certain things God will do to test you. And the Bible said, and it came to pass after these things. Now, after what things? Now, let me show you what things. God had made a promise unto Abraham. He said, now I'm going to bless you with a seed. And in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. And from thine own bowels, talking about you and Sarah, will I bring forth this child. I'm not talking about you and Hagar. I'm talking about you and Sarah. But what God did, God waited until Sarah's womb got dead. So Sarah, that flesh told Abraham, now God had promised him, but flesh, see what flesh does, flesh don't see God, flesh don't know God, flesh don't understand God. The things of God are foolishness to the carnal mind. So now here flesh is dead. So Sarah looking in the natural, and she said, well, Abraham, my flesh is dead. So why don't you go into Hagar, my bondsmaid, and raise up your son? He hearkened unto the voice of his wife, flesh, just like Adam did in the Garden of Eden. If you know how it happened, right? So Hagar ends up getting pregnant with Ishmael, right? But then later on, when Abraham was 100 years old and Sarah was in the 90s, the Bible said Abraham considered not his own body now dead, nor the deadness of Sarah's womb, right? But the Bible said, who against hope believed in hope, right? Believe in God, right? Went into Sarah. Sarah conceived and brought forth a child, which was Isaac. But now, watch now. This woman that's set up there, let's see what flesh does. Flesh is crazy. Flesh will talk you into something and talk about you what you got in it. Watch now. Flesh will give you more hell and talk you into it. So flesh told him to go into Hagar, right? So that means now Hagar has a child. So anytime a woman has a child, that's a link. That's a connection for that man. So in order for that man to hold that child, usually the child is near the mother. So that meant that constantly he's with his child. He loved his child. And he wanted a child. So that meant he had to spend time with Hagar. But if you really read it, he married her. Hagar wasn't just a bondsmaid. Hagar became his wife. You better hear me now. Hagar became the man's wife. So he's spending time. Now, you told me to go into Hagar, right? But now watch flesh. Watch what flesh, this stupid flesh, will get you in complete trouble. Now, you got to pay attention. So here she is. Now she upset now, you know, that Abraham got this relationship with Hagar. So finally she has a child. Well, when she has a child, Abraham has got caught up in Ishmael, Ishmael has this little thing called civil rivalry, you know. I mean, now this little baby is going to be coming in and try to take my place, so no doubt he probably thumping little Isaac on his head, calling big old head Isaac, you know what I'm talking about, just poking at the little boy, you know what I'm talking about, you know, just messing with him. And so Sarah got upset and told Abraham, said, you need to get rid of this woman Hagar and this child. But wait a minute, the child about 14, you know, he got off into little Ishmael. In fact, about it, he got ready to bless Ishmael. God said, no, that's not the promise seed. That's the seed of the flesh. He said, I tell you what, no, that's not the promise seed. God, I tell you what I want you to do. I want you to hearken. You hearken until you want life the first time. Hearken unto her this time. Do exactly what she said. Since you sit up there and let that flesh get you in trouble, and let that flesh get you out of trouble. Put out. Put her and the child out. Now, can you imagine the emotional pain that Abraham was going through? So now Abraham don't know where Hagar or Ishmael is. So now he only has one son. One son. One son. But God told him, said, now, this is what I'm going to do. He said, in Isaac shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. In Isaac, I will make an everlasting covenant between me. This is God talking to Abraham. I will make an everlasting covenant between me and Isaac. I'm talking about an everlasting bond. The covenant being a oneness. In other words, me and Isaac are going to be one. Whatever happened to Isaac happens to me. That's what kind of protection and blessing I'm going to put up on this child. I'll make a covenant with him. He said, now I'm going to raise him up. And in thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed. And from Isaac, I'm going to multiply thy seed more than the multitude of the stars in the sky, more than the multitude of the sand by the sea. Now this is a promise from God. Watch this. This is a promise from God. Then he says, now it came to pass after all these what? After all these things, after all these promises, I done told you about Isaac, right? I done made you put out Hagar and Ishmael. So now you got this one son. So after all of these things, this is what I'm getting ready to do. I'm going to test you now. And the Bible said that God did tempt Abraham and said unto him, Abraham, and he said, behold, here I am. He said, take now thy son, thy only son, Isaac, whom thou hatest. Wait a minute, now you know he fell in love with Isaac. First of all, he done lost a son. So whenever you lose a child, if you never lost a child, you cling to the next one. And especially if it's a child in your old age. It's something like when you think of Mother Barker, you think about little Hazley, you know, and I know her mom and her daddy, you know, but she clings to it. It's like she draws life from youth. You know, if old people hang around old people, they'll die real quick. But if you want to live, get old and just hang out in kindergarten. They'll have you out there playing on monkey bars and playing tetherball. Say amen. Say amen. I don't hang around a bunch of old people. I don't, man. I don't hang around a bunch of old people. Mostly everybody around me be young. Say, man, I hung around old people when I was young. I hung around a lot of old people when I was young. Now I'm old. I don't need to be around a bunch of old folk. I done got what I want from old folk. Now I need something from young folk. Say, man, lift your hands, say that youth. So here it is. Now here this child. Now take thy son, thy only son, Isaac. Now, anybody ever smelled burning human flesh before? Anybody? It's a beautiful. That's the nasty smell. And it's horrible because that's a horrible way to see a person die because it's so painful. They usually die from shock. A person, a burn victim, usually dies from shock. It ain't because their organs are burnt up. Their organs and heart may be okay. The outside is so burnt, the pain, because it burns the nerves, so a lot of times they die from shock. But flesh, now, I'm telling you not to just kill your child. I'm telling you to melt it. I want you to melt your child. You have to listen to me. I want you to burn it. I don't want you to just take him and just cut his head off and just get it over with. I want you to sit there and you burn it. And I want you to sit there and watch this child melt. I want his little curly, locky hair. I want you to see it. If people see hair burn, I want you to watch that hair just curl up and just singe until you get to the skull and you see the skin. And see, when flesh melts, it melts just like plastic. It drips. The flesh will drip just like plastic. And I want you to set up and I want you to watch this child. Now, this is the child I told you I made a covenant. I want you to offer there for a burnt offering up on one of the mountains, which I tell thee of. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and saddled his ass and took 2 of his young men with him and Isaac his son and clave the wood for the burnt offering and rose up and went into the place. Now watch this. I'm going to show you how God is. He said, I want you to go to the land of Moriah. Now, watch God. And he said to the place which God had told him. Then on the what? Wait a minute, on the how many days? So that meant that Abraham was walking with his only child for 3 days. Can you imagine walking with your child for 3 days? Furthermore, I'm talking about walking with your child, that you have played ball, that you have set up there, all the different things y'all have done together. For 3 days, you're looking at this child. But you know you're getting to go kill this child. So that gives you time, 3 days, to think whether I want to do this or not. Man, no, I don't want to kill my child. God didn't say, go right over there and cut his head off. He said, I'm going to show you where to go kill him. And it took 3 days to get there. So that means you have 3 days to contemplate, to think whether you should do it or not. Watch this. 3 days. And the Bible said these words. Y'all listen to me? And on the 3rd day, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place afar off. And Abraham said unto his young men, abide ye here. And watch this here. Look at somebody say, a bad man. Abraham said to the young man, abide ye here with the ass, and I and the lad will go yonder and what? Wait a minute, you telling me to kill my son, but I'm telling you we're going to worship. He wasn't a little bitty baby, he's some size now. And laid it upon Isaac his son, and he took the fire in his hand and the knife, and they went both of them together. And Isaac spake unto Abraham his father and said, my father? And he said, here am I, my son. And he said, behold the fire and the wood. But where is the lamb for a burnt offering? And Abraham said, in the world would God have to provide a lamb for himself? There's got to be a lamb provided for God. Because if you and God are in covenant, and I kill you, God must die. So God got to provide himself a lamb. Because if you die, he's in covenant with you. Point to yourself and say, God in covenant with me. He said, the Lord shall provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So they went both of them together. And they came to the place which God had told them of, and Abraham built an altar there and laid the wood in order and bound Isaac his son and laid him on the altar upon the wood. He had been through so much hell already that God had broke his emotions. Couldn't nobody tell what was on his mind. The angel called out of heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham, and he said, here am I. He said, lay not thy hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him. For now I know that thou fearest God, seeing that thou hast not withheld thy son, thy only son from me. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him was a ram caught in the thicket by his horn. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him for a burnt offering instead of his son. And Abraham called the name of that place Jehovah Jireh, as it is said to this day,